Our YouTube, welcome back. Today's episode, what I'm going to show you guys is how to remove the drive shaft. As you can see, I've got it sitting right there. I got it out right now. The reason I didn't record before and kind of show you guys what I was doing was because I really didn't know what I was doing. The write-ups that I found online weren't really that helpful. I didn't see anything on YouTube, and there were some questions that I had as I was doing it that I couldn't find the answers to online. So I went ahead and did it first. I'm gonna go back and show you guys how I did it, what I did to take the drive shaft off, and then anything else I decide to tackle today, I'll put into today's video. But drive shaft tutorial is what this episode is. And yeah, as always, like, comment, subscribe, you know the deal. And let me show you guys what I did. All right, the first thing I wanted to show you guys was up under the car. So this is our diff. Up under the car, there are these rubber, sandwich bearings, you could call them, I guess. Or I don't even know what they call them, but it's this rubber, I guess, middle piece. And so the drive shaft goes here, it connects into here, there's the rubber, and then back here is our diff, right? These bolts here, the ones that are on the rubber, you don't have to take those three off. I'll show you the three that you have to take off, but these three bolts really for what we're doing are not important. So we've got the drive shaft up here on the table. The three bolts that are important are the ones that are right here that are actually on the drive shaft. And those bolts are special. It's a Torx bit 55, so a T55. You put the T55 on that end, and then there's a bolt on the back that needs to be held. And so with that, it's, if you guys can see that, it's an 18. So you get the Torx bit on this side, get it to get loose, and you have to hold obviously the bolt on that side so that this doesn't spin, and these bolts will come off. There are 3 and 3. So on this side you can see 1, 2, 3, and then over here the 1, 2, and 3 on that side. So the problem is, because it's there in the tunnel, reaching the bolts is difficult, right? There are some that, if it were positioned like this, you would be able to get to these two bottoms one, but the ones that are on the top are difficult to get to. The way around that is just to put your car in neutral, get the tires up, and then spin the tires. As you spin the tires, the drive shaft will spin, and then you can reposition the bolt to the bottom. That way you can get it off. After that, you have those 6 bolts off. There's these 2 in the middle, which are just regular bolts, and they're 13 mil. You take those 2 off, and then all you need besides all that is a decent little pry bar, and then you pry off of that rubber isolator or whatever you want to call it, but you pry off, and then the drive shaft will just pry off, and you'll have no problems. I thought this was going to be a lot more difficult getting the drive shaft off, and it really wasn't. You've got the 6 bolts, you've got the 2 that are here, and then you just pry on the diff side, on the differential side, you pry from there, and I mean, it came off super easy. So with all that said, I'm going to keep working. I want to get some more stuff done today, but that's how you get the drive shaft off. And again, to clarify, you do not have to take this rubber, these 3 bolts right here, you don't have to take them off. I just got my pry bar. Our drive shaft was right there. I stuck the pry bar into there, went like this, and it popped off, no problem. So for now, we've got no drive shaft. Okay, and so now that the drive shaft's disconnected, there's some connectors and stuff that I'm gonna disconnect at the bottom of the transmission, but I had to turn the battery back on, that way I could get the car into neutral. Right now, I'm going to disconnect the battery cable again, and then I'll remove the shift linkage. I'll show you guys where that's at, and then I'll remove, there's a little harness on the side of the transmission that I'll also remove. So right now, I'm just gonna disconnect the battery again, and then I'll go down there and show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so the shift linkage is just this little nut that's here on the driver's side, which I hand tightened when I put it back on, but taking it off is just that nut, and it comes right off and hits my camera, but that's the shift linkage. And then on the opposite side, there's this connector here that just spins off like so. Push up on that and it comes off. So shift linkage off, this cable's off. Our exhaust is already off, the headers and the exhaust, so that's out of the way. There's no O2 sensors attached, so those wires we don't have to worry about. The only other thing now is going to be on this side, our cooling lines. Our cooling lines are right here. We're going to have to take those off and then catch all the transmission fluid that comes off with those, and that'll be it. This transmission is just about ready to get dropped. So that's what we're preparing for, but you guys just saw the shift linkage, that little wire that's on the other side. If you've got O2 sensors, disconnect those, and now it's just these transmission lines. All right, the only other thing I wanted to do today was to disconnect the transmission cooling lines down there, but I don't have anywhere to put the fluid that would come out, right? So this pan is full of oil, and I can't dump that oil because all of our bottles over here are all full. So I need to find a place to go and take these so I can recycle. And then I'll probably bring these 2 containers back if I can. That way I have those. But for now, I'm done for today. I know it's a short video, but I showed you guys how to remove the drive shaft, and then the shift linkage, and then that little wire that was on the other side of the transmission. Tomorrow though, if I can get to it, I just might drop the transmission tomorrow. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the engine work, easy. Like, it just kind of like puzzles, you know, it just kind of goes together. I don't know, it's not intimidating to me. Transmission, I don't know if it's because I've read so much that it's difficult to get off, or it's just a difficult job, but I'm a little intimidated, a little bit. But tomorrow I'm gonna try and get here early, that way I just have all day to work on it. But yeah, that'll be it for today. If anything, you guys have any questions about the drive shaft, anything transmission related, go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.